everybody. Now, as Michael Caine would say, not a lot of people know this, but I've long cherished a dream to be a comedian. And I was telling my friend Rob about this at the theatre the other night. Do you know, Rob, I've always wanted to be a comedian. Stand up, he says. Really, do you think I could do that? Stand up? He said, no, stand up. The Queen's just arrived. Oh well, never mind. So, imagine you're on a desert island and you can take any one of these three things with you. You can take toast, tea, or cake. Toast, tea, cake. I think I'll just take a toasted tea cake. 3 in 1. Cake. Does that make it a dessert island rather than a desert island? Ah, cake. Now there's a thing very close to my heart. My achy, cakey heart. Oh, close to my stomach these days. But hey, as everybody knows, human beings have an extra stomach just for cake. And I can give you an example of this. Every month in London, I go to the vegan potluck, arranged by lovely Sean. And how it works is we all take a homemade dish, whether it's a sweet dish or a savoury dish that we've made at home. And I even have a go myself, although no great shakes in the kitchen. Last time, for instance, I wanted to try a key lime pie. Have you heard of that, key lime pie? But I had to struggle because I couldn't work out from the recipe. Should I use a front door key or a back door key? And what if somebody swallowed it? I'd never be able to get home. So instead I make a very easy cake from Rose Elliott's Vegan Feasts. And you wouldn't know it, there's only 3 ingredients. And in fact, if I were to turn up at the potluck just carrying a packet of plain digestives, a tub of soya cream and 4 chocolate bars, I think Sean would look at me and say, nah, not tried very hard this month, have you? But crumble the biscuits, melt the chocolate, whip up the soya cream, plug them in the fridge, and you've got chocolate mousse tart cake. Now, it wasn't very easy at first. I did have to get the hang of it and read the recipe. I suppose that means I'm self-taught, chocolate mousse tart. Please yourself. Well, anyway, on the last occasion, I went to the potluck. Everybody had really gone to town. They'd made so much effort. Fantastic spread on the table. We had lots of little vegan mini quiches, little pizzas, rice salads, pasta salad, potato salad, you name it. Fantastic. And a whole range of desserts. I mean, people had just gone to so much trouble. We had vegan trifle, we had cakes, pies, tarts. Even Ms. Cupcake had donated her leftover cupcakes. It was really splendid. And at the end of the evening, we were just stood around, clutching our stomach and saying, do you know, I couldn't eat another thing, not one other thing. And we all agreed we'd probably never even have to eat for another week. And at that very moment, very close to the end of the evening, my friend Charlotte walked in. And she was carrying an absolutely huge, fantastic chocolate and peanut cake. And we all looked and thought, oh, we couldn't possibly really know, but it did look good. And then, wouldn't you know, the old dessert stomach kicked in. And one by one, people kept going over and saying, well, maybe just a little bit, just a tiny piece. Well, I wasn't rushing over there. I wanted to just get a photo. I mean, it did look lovely. But I tell you, by the time I got there, the hordes had descended and crumbs. That's all that was left. Never mind. And I know they say you shouldn't eat too much cake. They say, oh, what about the calories? Well, you've got Monsieur Kilo Jules to thank for that, haven't you? I mean, in the old days, nobody ever heard about calories, so they just didn't have them. So, I mean, I have to say myself, if I'm in somewhere really great, like in Spiral Lounge in Camden, and I'm just having one of their double chocolate fudge cakes with hot chocolate sauce, I do think, why don't I just apply this straight to my hips? I'm just going to go there anyway. But, no, wouldn't worry about that. Could have your cake. I mean, cake, after all, it's one of the essential 4 main food groups, isn't there? Let's see, you've got cake, chocolate, ice cream, and pizza. I think that's right. Pizza. Domino's pizza. It's funny that they call it Domino's pizza, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't look anything like a domino. I mean, it's round, with toppings, like any other pizza. But still Domino's. It does remind me. I used to go to this lovely patisserie in Hampstead. Patisserie, that's posh for cake. In the days before I was vegan. And I used to have their Domino cake, which was not round like a Domino's pizza. It was actually a little rectangular chocolate cake covered with white vanilla icing and picked out with little chocolate dots, similar to the little dots you get on Domino's. Well, I reasoned to myself that the more dots you got on there, the more chocolate. So secretly, I was always hoping for a double 6. But it seemed to work out. I used to do quite okay. Sometimes they'd give me a 5 and a 2. I thought, that's pretty good. Oh, it's better than a double 1, can you imagine? Or sometimes it'd be a 2 and a 5, which is maybe not quite so good. But I never got the double 6. But I kept going. In fact, one day I was in a bit of a rush and I walked past their cake shop. Now, I know Rob would say you should never walk past a cake shop. You should always go in and have cake, that's kind of the deal. But I did walk past. And I just happened to look in the window. And there was a row of these Domino cakes, a whole stack of them. And I looked. And you know, every single cake was a 5 and a 2. Or a 2 and a 5. I would never have got a double 6, however many times I went. So, just as well I did go vegan, eh? Never mind. But anyway, as I am a vegan, I can have cake. I mean, you may scoff at that idea, vegan cake, but you will indeed scoff if you get my friend Moni's book, The Cake Scoffer, which is full of lovely, easy recipes. We've got all sorts in here. For instance, we've got carrot cake. Carrot cake, well, that's got to be one of your 5 a day, hasn't it? We've got Cakewell tart. Very good, Ronnie, like that one. Oh, we've got Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, and there's posh for Black Forest cake. Oh, we've got apple and cinnamon scones. Is it scones? Or is it scone? Do you say scone to rhyme with gone? Or do you say scones to rhyme with bow, toe, low, phone? You get the drift. It's tasty anyway, isn't it? Scones. Now I have to say, folks, The Cake Scoffer really is my Bible. I know some people do worship cake. Some religions almost seem to be built around cake. Judaism, for instance. We have lots of festivals around cake. For instance, at Hanukkah, which is a festival normally held around Christmas, we have donuts. And of course we have them Bob Marley style. We're jamming, 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 jamming. Okay, so that was a bit jammy. And then that brings us to the spring. We have Passover. You may think we have to pass over that one. But no, we have palaver cake. Bit of a palaver to make. Or we have these little round cookies called prelatos. I know, you say prelado and I say prelado. I think that's right. And then moving on, usually about May, we have Shavuot, the Festival of Weeks. And that's a good one because we have cheesecake. And again, there's a lovely recipe for vegan cheesecake in The Cake Scoffer using tofu, ice cream, digestive biscuits, and a big knob of margarine. And also, of course, Shamboos, lovely Shamboos. They do wonderful vegan dairy-free cheesecakes and gluten-free too. So look out for those in your health food shop. Then that brings us on to later in the year, the New Year, Rosh Hashanah, where for a sweet year we'd make, well, not a honey cake if you're vegan, but maple syrup cake, date syrup cake, agave syrup, just as long as you're bringing in the sweetness. And it's all cake, so it's fine. And then the most serious, important day of the year, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, when it's a fast day. So, no cake at all that day. No cake. Oh no. But seriously, you know, we often have cakes at celebrations, don't we? Weddings, for instance. Who doesn't love a wedding? Oh, and the happy occasions, but there are always tears at wedding, aren't there? Everybody crying. So many tears. Even the wedding cake has tears. 1, 2, 3. So what else have we got? But yes, and it can be for smaller celebrations, cake. You pass your driving test, you think, great, nice bit of parking. You fail your driving test. I failed mine 5 times. And the next thing you knew, came home, mirror, signal, cake tin, and I felt better. Passed on the 6th go, so it's worth doing. But you know, sometimes failing a driving test, you can feel a bit down, can't you? I was feeling a bit down in the dumps the other day. I couldn't quite really explain it. I was telling my friend Kathy about this, and she said, you know, Julie, you might be suffering from cake deficiency. Cake deficiency? I said, what are the symptoms? Well, she said, you know, sometimes when you go upstairs and by the time you get there you can't remember what it was you went up there for. I thought, yes, I can relate to that one. Well, it's cake, she said. It was cake you went up there for, and you shouldn't have gone up there. You should have gone in the kitchen. Kitchen's that way. That's where the cake is. I thought, yes, you might have a point. So, other times you just think, you know, there's something missing in my life, but I can't quite put a finger on it. Well, it's cake that's missing, and if you are going to put a finger on it, make sure it's a clean one, because it might have soy cream or jam in it, hopefully, if you're lucky. So on this occasion, she said, she saw I was a bit down, she said, cake deficiency. What we'll do, we'll go to Neil's Yard Salad Bar. Well, I thought that's a bit odd, a bit of lettuce. How's that going to help? But actually, they do have a wonderful list of desserts in there. So she sat me down, showed me the menu. I just couldn't decide. I said, what do you recommend? She said, well, I think you should go for the chocolate and coconut cake. Well, I was a bit sceptical, but I thought, give it a go. It couldn't hurt. It's only cake. So what I did, had a go, started eating it. And you know, after the second spoonful, started feeling quite a bit better. And after the second slice, well, there you go. But you're probably worried about me putting weight on, aren't you? But no, not at all. I've discovered the secret when it comes to cake and not putting weight on. And that's cake forks. You know, those little dainty cake forks that posh people have. Yeah, they don't just pick up the cake and stuff it in their gobs like common people. No, these are very delicate little cake forks, like the Queen. You know, the Queen, when she has her afternoon tea and her little sandwiches with the crust cut off. Cake forks. And what happens is, you cut into the cake with your cake fork and the calories escape. You know, those tiny little calories that have all been squashed together. Freedom! So the calories escape. And they can't go here. They're just spread out into the atmosphere. Which is why some people say, you know, I only have to look at a piece of cake to put weight on. And it's true. It's probably the person next to them slicing into their cake, freeing the calories. But anyway, I ate my cake with a very delicate cake fork. And the truth is here. Still looking good. Anyway, goodness. That's enough about cake for one day, isn't it? I'm just going to go and sit down, have a nice cup of tea and something sweet. Do you know, I'm going to tell my friend, when it comes to stand up, it's just a piece of cake, isn't it? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.